If you have been struggling to get sales from your design work or understanding what you really need to do to make money, I have the workshop for you. On September 23rd, I'm hosting my first ever Profitable Designer Workshop. This 1-day, 3-hour workshop is only $97, but I have a discount for all my podcast listeners. Go to carinagardnercourses.com/profit and put in the code podcast for $50 off. I can't wait to see you more profitable. Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. Hey guys, today I am here with Elizabeth Chappell. She is the owner of the website quilterscandy.com. She has an amazing, wonderful membership for quilters. I think it's really fun for her to come on and talk to us today. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Hey, so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So this is really cool because Elizabeth has some really cool programs coming out. We just had a great talk about business and all the wonderful things we can do as creatives. So I thought it would be really fun to have you guys hear her talk about kind of her journey, first of all, to becoming a quilter, right? She's doing all the fun quilty things. So I would love to hear her journey for you guys. And then what she's doing now to really supplement a creative career. So I'm going to hand it right over to you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, perfect. So it's funny when people ask, how did you turn this hobby, this craft that you love into a career? I'm like, it was a little bit backwards for me. So I loved business. I've always been an entrepreneur and I didn't really know it, but I was always looking to start a business and do this, do that. And I had a best friend move in and we were brainstorming ideas and her mom came to town to go to quilt market. And I was like, quilt market? They just called it market. We're going to market. I was like, that sounds like jiggity jig, this fat pig, you know?
There's like the 5 pigs. We're all going to market.
And so the second year she came to town to go to market, I was like, hold on, what does your mom do? And she was like, well, she designs fabric. I was like, really? For quilters? Can I tag along to this market and see what this is all about? And it was Houston Quilt Market for, quilters. And I was blown away. I was like, whoa, okay, this is cool. My mom quilted growing up and I was like, not interested, but it was hip. It was cool. And I was like, this is a huge industry. This is a very niche market. I knew enough about business to know it's good to have a niche market and it's cool. So, and my best friend, we had a connection in the industry. I was like, why don't we do something in the quilting industry? Wow. So we brainstormed and came up with a subscription box. And at the same time, I was like, I need to know how to quilt. Like I need to know how to do this thing that I have a business in. So she taught me how to quilt. And the first quilt I made, it was like blood, sweat, and tears. I was crying. I poked myself with a needle. I was like, this is not fun for anyone. And I kept making more and more. And each time I found different aspects that I liked about it. I really enjoyed the pattern, like trying to come up with. And I remember saying, I'm going to learn how to write quilt patterns. I want to sell those. And someone else in the industry was like, that's pretty hard. You don't just do that. I was like, oh, I'll do that. So I taught myself and they were pretty terrible at first, but anyhow, then my friend moved away and I had to decide how am I going to move forward on my own. So I decided to be done with this physical subscription box. It was very heavy on, there's a lot of risks and, a lot of manual labor for just one person. So I rotated, switched gears and started doing a digital membership. And it was really more logistics, but it turns out it's very cool. Like I now am able to connect with my customers instead of just sending a box to their house and never seeing them. We have this community where we get to come together and talk and they're like my people, they're my friends. So I had no idea that I would love it so much. And then I just love the business side of things. And people would ask questions. How'd you get started with this? How did you do that? I was like, and a lot of people hold that really close. They don't want to share how they got their success. And I was like, no, I'm okay sharing that, So I started opening courses on how to write and sell quilt patterns and how to grow a creative business. So there's my story in a nutshell.
I love that. I love that you didn't come straight in from quilting, because I'm kind of the same way. I came in as a designer, which is so opposite. So many people are quilters and then they become fabric designers, but I was a designer and then I became a fabric designer. So that is really, really cool. So you have some really cool things going on. Okay, well, first let's talk about your membership. So what is the membership called? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so it's the Quilters Candy membership. And the draw for that is, and I got this from our subscription box, I bring in different designers. Every month we have a new featured designer, and I like to look for either the top designers out there or really hidden gems of like super talented designers that you might not have heard of, and we get their pattern before anyone else does. It's exclusive. And then we have things like, right now I have a hand quilting challenge, so I popped on and taught how to hand quilt, and we have the month to complete a project and win prizes. We have guests who come in and speak and do a trunk show or teach on a technique. So it's been really fun, really connecting, especially during this time where we haven't been able to see as many people, oh, someone's at the door. But we get to connect with other quilters from around the world, and it's been super rewarding.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I have been watching you on Instagram doing all this hand quilting, and you actually have it. If you are on the podcast, you guys can't see this, but behind her is this puffy quilt where she's done. Are they flying geese? Are they actual flying geese, or are they something else that I don't know?
Yeah, they're 3D flying geese. And one of my members asked, could you put like fill in there to make them puffy? And I was like, no. And I was like, wait a minute, you totally could. I'm gonna do that. So I did.
I've never seen that done with flying geese. I've seen it done with like fabric. Like there's someone who used to be a Riley Book designer. She had like cars, and she would stuff them. Once it was quilted together, she would stuff them, just the cars, like, and sew around them. I thought it was fantastic, but I've never seen it done with flying geese, and that is awesome. Like seriously, so cool.
Well, and one of the members, when we went on for the live, she's like, that's what your pattern looks like? Oh, I need to get it. Like once you see that puffy 3D flying geese, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is so fun. So you have different members coming into your membership. You don't open up, you're not open year round. Like if you open, like when's the next time you open up so that people can come into your program?
Yeah, so it opens in January, and it opens every 3 months. And so the hardest thing is, if people want a pattern that was released in the past, it's only if you're there right when it's released, because then, that designer owns the rights again. So I like to give teasers of who's going to be coming up so people can know to join. But yeah, that's it. Just a couple times a year that we open it up.
That is super tough, but I totally get that, because we have the same thing with our membership is always open, but then there'll be people who are like, oh, I want the stuff from October or September. And I'm like, sorry, like the stuff that's in it this month, this is where we're at. There's kind of no way of getting around it, which is amazing. Okay, so tell me, what's like one of your favorite quilts you guys have done in your membership?
Well, is that self-serving to say one of my own? No, we had, lo and behold, Stitchery, her knitted star, that was released in the membership first. And that was like, that's probably one of my favorites. And then I have a wild and free pattern that I haven't released to the public yet, but we did it in the membership. And it's quilt as you go. It gives a really cool effect, which turns out the 3D flying geese, all that, I'm into something a little bit out there, so those have probably been my favorite.
I love that. That's so fun. Okay. So I want to close this down with talking about you've got some new stuff coming up in 2022. We've got this podcast set up to come out in December. So I'm starting to think about 2022. I know so many of you Design Suite members, my design boot campers, like you guys are starting to think about what's coming up in 2022. So I thought it'd be fun to have Elizabeth tell us about some of the things she's doing.
Yeah. So in February, I have my Craft to Career course, which is like my passion. Once I start geeking out on business, you can't stop me. And so I love helping other people learn how to take this creative thing in their life and turn it into a career. So Craft to Career. I've got my podcast, Craft to Career Podcast, where if you're not ready to invest in that yet, or you're not sure, go check out the podcast and you'll get, awesome takeaways. And I have a book coming out, my very first book being published in 2022. So that should be like springtime of 2022.
Do you know what the name is yet?
Oh, something about color block, something with color block in it. The publisher will let me know once that's finalized.
That's amazing. Okay. You have so many great things going into 2022. That's really exciting for you. Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I am. I know. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, sounds amazing. You guys go check out this membership. Go check out her new coursework. You can find her at quilterscandy.com, and on Instagram, is it just Quilters Candy?
It's Quilters_Candy. Unfortunately, that one was taken, so we've got the underscore.
Okay, so Quilters_Candy. So go check her out. Elizabeth's also doing all sorts of amazing things. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure we'll have her back at some point just to see like what her progress is. Maybe talk about her new book, because that would be really fun to hear about. I love women who are doing creative businesses. I just think it's super powerful. We had an amazing talk even before we started this podcast about building businesses as women and as creatives, because we're kind of a smaller niche, you guys. We're not women who's just building businesses, we're building creative businesses, and that's pretty powerful. Thanks so much for coming on, Elizabeth. I will see you guys all very, very soon. My next podcast, come on back. I'm kind of in the Christmas spirit, so I'm talking Christmassy things, and we'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.